Hi guys, it's Kelly here from spiritualawakeningsigns.com, and today's video is all about 3 different ways that you can reduce and stop your spiritual awakening anxiety, fear and even panic attacks. So this is a really key video for you that's going to help you to make sure you can reduce those symptoms and stop them in their tracks, because I know it's the worst symptom of all the awakening symptoms that you can have, and certainly one that I struggled with the most. So in this video today you're going to learn common anxiety symptoms that are actually quite different from standard anxiety symptoms, so you'll be able to see the difference there and why they're specific to spiritual awakening. We're also going to cover why awakening causes anxiety, fear and panic attacks in the first place, so that you know what's happening, and also how to stop it pretty much instantly in 3 key ways. And there's simple things that you can do to make these changes. So we're really getting into the nitty-gritty in this video today, and thank you so much for joining us. So excuse me, before we get started, I'm just giving you a little reminder that our brand new meditation and course this month is called the Anxiety Relief Kit, and it's focused on calming anxiety, fear and panic attacks and grounding your energies instantly. That's what it's all about. It's now available to purchase, so I'll put a little link in the description box below. It's available only for the next 7 days, and it closes on Friday the 6th. But this is basically a jam-packed course. This is like 2 courses in one. So it's got the healing meditation, and it's going to teach you how to use energy healing technique EFT tapping, so that you can tackle those symptoms the minute that they start. And just so that you know, it was EFT that stopped my panic attacks that I had years ago. Really valuable tool, and can bring you out of anxiety and panic in minutes. So we're going to be covering all of that and telling you more about that, but I'll put the link in the comments box if you're interested. So as we get into this, what I want to start by saying is, if you're watching this video, I'm sending you a hug, because that means that you're already filled with intense anxiety, fear, panic attacks, and I know what it's like, because they don't ease off no matter what you do. That's the most challenging part of it, and I really do know that feeling pretty well. I was always in this state of feeling kind of restless and nervous, and I had this knot in my stomach, and I would get fluttering in my heart, just loads of panic. And the hardest part of it is you get these thought loops that cycle. Maybe you recognise that, so if you guys recognise any of these symptoms, please tell me in the comments below and I'll have a little chat to you. You know, we're all going through the same thing here, but that loop that plays with all these horrible thoughts, and you can't switch it off. And quite often, specifically in awakening, it can rise up to this kind of terrifying peak, you know, a real peak of fear and panic and worry, and you feel powerless to stop it, certainly until you learn what to do in this video. But it can feel as though it just grows larger and larger no matter what you do, or with every attempt you make to change it or make it better. And I really do know what that's like. And I want you to know that while a bit of anxiety, fear, or even a little bit of panic at times is quite normal throughout awakening, it's a bad enough symptom that we really need to change it. And I want you to know that it's not something that you have to put up with. It is a part of awakening. Everybody gets it at some point, but it's not something that you have to suffer through to be able to get to the end goal. It's really not. There's a lot of changes you can make to make that better and make it easier. And also, I want to just let you know that I know how horrific it is, because it's a real relentless symptom, and there's really not much that you can do about it until you learn the hard way. And fortunately for you, I learned the hard way earlier on, so we can get to work on this. But the most challenging thing, I think, is the fact that it doesn't seem to have a cause. You know, this anxiety, the fear, the panic can just rise up out of nowhere, and it doesn't really ever seem to have a route that you can find. That's the hardest part of it. If you knew what the cause was, you could do something about it. That's what's really challenging. So the first thing I want you to know is, please don't worry, it can be changed. Okay, like I said, you know, it is a part of awakening to experience anxiety, but it's not something that you have to put up with. And you know, we are going to be changing it in this video. The first steps we are making, we're going to change it in this video. And there are things that you can do that you can override it. So I want you to know it has a specific purpose. It does actually have an important purpose, the anxiety throughout awakening. It allows a lot of energy to flow through our systems, but you definitely don't have to put up with it. And we're going to change it with the stuff that we're covering in this video. So I'll just say hello. Please say hello if you're on the video. I love to talk to you guys. So Harini, love from India. Oh wow, hi Harini. And Candice has joined us as well. Thank you so much for joining us, guys, and please let me know if you recognise any of the symptoms and the things that we're talking about, because the one thing that I really want to come from this video is that everybody in the group and everyone on Facebook, everyone on YouTube knows that it's a common theme and that you're not alone in feeling it. That's really important. I want you to know, not alone in this ever, okay? So let's get started by talking about the symptoms of anxiety, fear and panic attacks during spiritual awakening. So this is specific to spiritual awakening, okay? Some of these techniques will help if you've got anxiety anyway, but we're really focusing in on the fact that it's anxiety, fear or panic attacks when you're already going through a spiritual awakening. So I'm going to go through the list of symptoms, and they're lists of symptoms that people generally suffer, right? And so it's going to sound a bit simple, but I'm going to go through them mainly because they are actually different from standard anxiety. There is a difference there, and they include symptoms that the average person going through anxiety won't actually get. They're quite different, so we're going to cover that. But also because, you know, you'll be experiencing other symptoms that you might not have linked. You might not realise that they're actually part of this anxiety loop. So I want to just cover that. Let's take a look. So some of the symptoms that you'll get with spiritual awakening anxiety, fear or panic attacks are feeling nervous, restless, unsettled or tense, a sense of dread of impending danger or doom. That's always an enjoyable one. Had that a lot. An increased or irregular heart rate, fluttering, feeling that your chest is thumping, sweating, shaking, feeling weak. That's when we get to a really ungrounded status. You can even get brain fog, trouble concentrating, you can't think clearly. You're getting butterflies, churning, knots in the stomach, you know, like a real bad feeling in your gut, like, oh, something's wrong. That's a really bad feeling. You can even get lightheaded, dizzy, you can feel sick. You can even get pins and needles, tingling in your extremities. That's when you're really close to a panic attack when that usually hits. Here's some of the different ones. You might get flashbacks of previous frightening or traumatic experiences from this lifetime. So things that happened to you when you were a kid, things that happened when you were younger. And trauma doesn't necessarily mean, you know, a car accident or somebody dying. It can be something that impacted you. We're sensitive souls, so it's something really impacting to you and really upsetting. You might also get flashbacks of frightening or traumatic experiences in past lifetimes. That's the key difference. Past lifetimes. And this is usually more confusing because we can't make sense of what we're seeing or experiencing, so that adds to the fear and the anxiety. So you might also be feeling intense panic, anxiety, burning, tingling, discomfort in any of the main chakra positions throughout the body. So any key point throughout the central column where you have chakras residing, it's quite common to feel burning, tingling, fizzing, strange sensations in those areas. That's anxiety rising up. And even embarrassing or shameful secrets from your past that you'd rather nobody knew about, and they start coming up to the surface. You know, these things that we're ashamed of start rising up and they cycle in your mind. You can't seem to pack them back down. It's coming up for healing, okay? But these things all play into anxiety and the symptoms of anxiety. So we've got some that are the same as standard anxiety, and we've got a lot that are very different and that you certainly wouldn't feel you could go to an average doctor and say, you know, I'm having past life issues and it's causing me a lot of anxiety. Difficult one to talk about, but you can talk about it here because I get it. And so does everyone else in the group. So let's talk about why do you feel so anxious during a spiritual awakening. Before we get into how to stop those feelings, and I promise I'll be quick, let's first understand exactly why they occur in the first place. Why does spiritual awakening and anxiety tend to go hand in hand? Well, anxiety throughout awakening is technically unavoidable, at least at some stages, okay? But the degree to how much of that panic or anxiety you feel and how long you have to actually endure it can be reduced dramatically. It's unavoidable mainly because the process of awakening itself requires massive influxes of energy, and it's needed to charge our systems to open up all these central chakras, and that allows healing to occur. So that energy can cause havoc while it rains, and it can it can be unavoidable simply for that key point, but it doesn't mean that we can't reduce it. So I want you to know that if you're experiencing that, it is part of awakening, but we can absolutely tame that dragon and make it a lot easier for you throughout awakening. I don't want people suffering anxiety unnecessarily. There's just no need for it at all, and there's no need for you to have a much harder time than is necessary to get through your awakening, okay? So ascension energy can make us feel awful, okay? That's a given, and I'm sure I'm not telling you anything you don't know. It can make you feel absolutely awful. The problem is that while that process of purging and clearing is essentially a greatly transformational thing for your soul's ascension, we wouldn't reach enlightenment without it. There's no way. It generally makes us feel awful for two key reasons, okay? Two specific reasons why it's so bad. So the first one is that the powerful surge of energy draws up current and past life fear, whether you consciously know or remember it or not. So that's important to take in, because what that means is, as that energy, the Kundalini, drives right up your centre, it brings up all these past life issues, brings up current life issues. Those things are moving whether you actually consciously remember them, whether you're aware of what's going on or not. You feel the fear, you feel the reaction of your soul to these things, but you don't always really know exactly what it is that's going on. So that's the first reason. And the second reason is that powerful surge of energy that shoots right up the centre of you to awaken you and bring you an ascension, it naturally makes you feel anxious and panicked because it charges and overstimulates you. It overstimulates you massively, and it can trigger a fight or flight response in your physical body. That's how powerful it is. And you're not ready for such a high vibration. It's like the body's too dense, you're not ready yet. So it causes your alarm senses and signals to trigger as your bodies perceive this really powerful energy as a threat. And it will trigger your bodies to take flight and run away, or to fight. You know, it's this real survival instinct that's going to trigger that in your body. It's going to make you feel anxious because your body knows that something's not right and there's some sort of threat. It just doesn't know what. So that's why this kind of shows up. Just want to say a quick hello to Nicole from Ontario. Very cool, from Canada. And she's just saying that her emotions are all over the place. I know, it's really hard. It's really, really hard, Nicole, but we can definitely make that better. And this is the start. And I'm also going to be covering EFT tapping. If your emotions are really all over the place, I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. That would really, really help you right now. So I'll get into that by the end of the video. And hi to Michelle, who's sending us love. Thank you. That's really sweet. So let's get into the good stuff. How to stop spiritual awakening, anxiety, fear and panic attacks fast, right? And that's the key word, because when you feel this sense of dread, when you feel that anxiety and that fear, or especially if you're getting into panic attacks, you need this to work right now. There's no wait time, it's unbearable. So there's good news and bad news, right? I'll give you the bad news first. Not a lot actually works to stop or reduce awakening anxiety, or the fear and panic attacks that come along with it. And a lot of techniques that are commonly recommended to us by the spiritual community, just as a standard or suitable practice, they actually make the symptoms much worse, much worse. And I know this because I did it over and over again. I get emails from my clients who did it. You know, they don't understand why their symptoms are getting worse. The good news, however, is that there are 3 specific things that you can do that actually do work, and they don't have the negative repercussions that often occur with other methods. And if you might notice those if you start using incense or oils or sage, or you know, you're doing meditation or yoga and you suddenly feel a lot worse, you can't understand why. You need to be grounded, okay? Sometimes that can happen, but there's 3 things that I've found that are definitely safe to do, and they definitely work, and they're easy. They're really, really easy. So we're talking about, I'm going to go into detail on these: grounding, movement and energy healing. They're the 3 things that will make the difference: grounding, movement and energy healing. So let's break those down. So grounding, for those of you who don't know, because quite a lot of people actually ask me, what exactly does grounding mean? Grounding is the practice of being fully present in your physical body, being fully alert in your physical body. It's the process of connecting to your surroundings and keeping your focus on the physical reality, which is where we should be, but often as light workers, we're just not. We're just, you know, tuned to something else. so we don't tend to be in our bodies very often. But unfortunately, because of the heightening nature of awakening, we can become ungrounded very, very quickly. And that can last months or even years if you don't get a handle on it. And it perpetuates long-term symptoms like anxiety, fear, nervousness that's going to make your awakening pretty much unbearable. It's a horrible feeling. But like I said, be careful, because traditional methods like crystals, incense, oils, meditation can have the opposite effect and make you feel worse. And it'll intensify your symptoms and make your anxiety, fear and panic attacks much, much worse. So if you want details on that, you can go to our site. It's a free 5-day course, teaches you everything you need to know so that you're not using the wrong things and you're reducing those symptoms. It's spiritualawakeningsigns.com. Just get the free course. It teaches you everything you need to know. And like I say, it's absolutely free. But don't make the mistake of thinking that it's not valuable. It's the most important stuff, which is why I've made it a free course. So have a wee look at that. But in the meantime, my best recommendation for fast and most importantly safe symptom-free grounding would be tea tree oil. Now I bring this up in quite a lot of my videos because tea tree oil is safe even for those of us going through spiritual emergency, you know, when we're mentally breaking down and our bodies are breaking down. It's deeply grounding, very, very grounding, because it's derived from a plant. And the connection to the soil and Mother Nature can really pull energetically your roots to the ground pretty instantly. And it has the added effect, the added benefit of clearing your energy if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or you need that energy cleared. It really, really works. So I just put a few drops in my hands, literally on the palms of my hands, a few drops in there. I rub it and I just stroke it through my aura, just like this, up over my arms, not on the skin, just above. Over my arms, down my body, over my legs, even down onto my feet. That can be really, really grounding. And if you're really ungrounded and you're feeling not good, you can actually put a little dot of it right on the base of your foot, right in the middle of the sole of your foot. That can be extremely grounding as well. So you can use that. The good thing is, because it's quite often used for health and beauty, you'll find it in budget stores, in the skincare aisle or in the pharmaceutical area. There's always tea tree oil, just pure tea tree oil. It's the only essential oil that I would recommend that you use and that I would say is safe. Okay, so that's an easy one to implement, easy for everyone. The second one that we're talking about is movement. So one thing that almost always works for me is movement. Exercise can shift energy really pretty quickly, and it can help to disperse any blocks that are in your chakras or energy field, and it will discharge the intense energy at the same time. So consider, you know, going to the gym or working out at home. Even a 15-minute walk can be enough to, you know, shift that energy, whether you live in a rural area or not. I'm very lucky to live in a rural area of Scotland. It's not really the area, it's the movement that makes the most difference. But if you can get out in the countryside, it does help. I'm actually just back from a few days away with my partner. We went to Loch Lomond. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's a pretty famous place in Scotland. They say it's got bonny banks. It really has got bonny banks, and it was beautiful. It was this beautiful loch and lovely greenery all around, and dirt paths and loads of wildlife, wild rabbits, foxes, you know, beautiful birds and ducks, and just lovely. And we spent a lot of time walking, you know, immersed in the nature and looking at the beautiful surroundings of Scotland, and it was so grounding. You know, I felt much better when I came back, because even for me, sometimes the energy, I can start to get a bit carried away, and sometimes you're so ungrounded you don't notice for a while. But being in that kind of area, walking, moving, being connected to water, being connected to lovely greenery, very, very grounding and really fun as well. So if ever you're visiting Scotland, check out Loch Lomond. It's super cool. It's awesome. Okay, so the last one that we're talking about is energy healing. Energy healing. That's my last tip on shifting anxiety, fear and panic, because energy healing, really I've not found anything that works any better than energy healing, and it's also an essential tool for you to have throughout your awakening if you want to make it easier. Okay, but there is an important stipulation, so please listen. Don't just switch the video off, you have to listen, because there's a really important word of caution here with energy healing. I'm trying to look after you here, so make sure you listen. Energy healing is great because not only is it going to help you to disperse the anxiety in the moment for instant relief, but it'll also heal the issues that are actually causing the anxiety to arise in the first place. And that means that you're less likely to experience future attacks because you're addressing it in the moment, you're feeling better, and you're also reducing the cause that's fueling all the anxiety in the first place. And I really believe that energy healing is absolutely essential during spiritual awakening. I don't know how I would have made it through without it, genuinely. It was my go-to solution for any and all emotional intensity, and it was such a relief to have a tool at my literal fingertips that could make me feel better in just a few minutes. I think that's why people go through awakening that lasts years and years and years. It's too much. You need something that you can use in the moment that's going to make you feel better. So, a word of caution. So this is my little be careful moment, okay? A word of caution if you're doing energy healing. It's really important to note that I don't recommend energy healing during awakening because it generally overstimulates us. It overstimulates your already overcharged energies, and it tends to make us feel even worse. It can even trigger a spiritual emergency or a psychological breakdown. So, and I know because that's how I triggered mine, you need to be really careful. The only energy healing method that I would safely recommend during awakening is EFT tapping, okay? It's a simple self-applied energy healing technique, and it will reduce anxiety, clear panic, and calm your nervous system while actively healing the cause of the problem. So it's a two-way thing. That's what makes EFT so useful during awakening. You're able to deal with the panic and the anxiety in the moment and clear it, but it also works to clear the root of the problem at the same time. It's healing you. So that's the thing that's great about it. It only takes about 10 minutes to actually learn the basic technique, and it's a literal lifesaver when a panic attack hits. It can discharge a panic attack in 2 minutes flat, and I know because I used to have terrible panic attacks, and being able to use those tapping points, that's all we're doing with EFT. It's very, very simple. The points don't change once you learn them, which takes about 10 minutes. You just use them over and over. It is absolutely amazing, and I used it on mine, and it had the added bonus of healing them permanently in the process while I was dealing with it daily. And I'm now 11 years free of panic attacks now. So EFT, you know, I had tried everything. EFT was the only thing that was suitable. So I'm noticing Michelle has said you find Reiki or IET. Can you define what that is? I'm not sure what IET is, but Reiki, stay away from Reiki while you're going through awakening, particularly if you're really not good and your symptoms are bad. Reiki is a wonderful energy healing modality. Use it when your awakening's finished, because if you use it during your awakening, what it's going to do is further charge and stimulate those energies, like most energy healing techniques will do. They'll further charge and stimulate the energies. So you might feel better for a little while you're getting the healing, and then all of a sudden you start to notice that your anxiety's worse and the emotions are more intense, and then maybe your body starts getting a bit sweaty and shaky and you don't feel right. And you can be like that for weeks. It takes a long time to re-ground your energy back down. So thank you for asking that, Michelle, because a lot of people do ask that question. It's a really good question to ask. But the only thing that I would recommend is EFT. Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more. So if you're looking to calm your anxiety, your fear, your panic attacks, and you want to ground your energies instantly, if you want some help with the energy healing to get you started on clearing and treating your anxiety for good, then our new energy healing kit can help. This is our new thing, and I'm really excited about this course. It was really fun, and I'm so excited to get it out there because I know you guys are really struggling with anxiety right now. So it's called the Anxiety Relief Kit, and it's a triple purpose energy healing course. It's way more than anything I've ever put into the meditations. There's so much information and guidance in this. So basically what it'll do is heal anxiety, fear and panic attacks at their energetic root with the healing meditation. So that's what we usually have. It's got the healing meditation to heal it at the root. It's going to treat anxiety and panic attacks on the spot with an emergency treatment video, which will literally calm your body down and bring it out of the fear, the anxiety and the panic whenever it hits. So you're able to watch this emergency video. It's only 10 minutes long, and I say, okay, you're going to watch me, you're going to copy me, tap here, tap here, tap here, and I guide you through what to do to bring your nervous system down. And that's the amazing thing about EFT. It's working on your energy. it's clearing emotion, and it's also calming your nervous system. It is the most incredible technique you could possibly use because it's got a three-sided approach to healing, which most energy healing methods don't. They only deal with the energy, or another therapy only deals with, you know, the psychological aspects, the emotional stuff. And another one only deals with the body. It's a three-part technique that's going to encompass every part, so that you are going through awakening and you don't have to go back and heal other things because one part's been missed. It's going to do all the work for you. It's also going to teach you, the course will teach you how to perform EFT tapping on yourself, so that you can begin actually treating yourself whenever you need it, and healing long term too, so that you're getting out of that space where you're stuck in anxiety, fear or panic, moving past that. So it's a jam-packed course. It's actually the equivalent of 2 courses in one, and I could have done them separately, but what I really felt was that when I came through my awakening, I wished someone had just given me all the tools I needed. You know, I didn't want to separate them. I want to just give you a bumper pack of everything that you need, and then you've got all the tools at your disposal. So what's included? An energy healing meditation as usual, which is all about the anxiety, the fear, the panic attacks. You're getting an EFT tapping instructional video to teach you how to heal and treat yourself. It's really simple. Children can do this. It's really, really simple. You're also getting an emergency tapping video that you can use anytime fear, anxiety or panic attacks hit. And that will bring you back to calm in under 10 minutes. And tapping sheets. So I made lots of cheat sheets to help you with guided tapping scripts and how to do it, and just things to keep you on the straight and narrow as you're working, so that you know exactly what to say and how to do it. So it's quite an in-depth course. You're getting a lot more than what's in the usual meditations, but I'm really, really excited about it because I just know that when you guys start this, you're going to be just as crazy about EFT as I am, and you're also going to have that healing meditation there that you can use just to keep training your energies into that calmer space. So it should be really, really exciting. And also there's actually a free trial on the course, so if you have a look at that, we've got a free trial, like a mini meditation that you can try some of the healing downloads and see what that feels like if you've never tried it before. So that's all very exciting. So what I'll do is I will pop a link to the course in the comments box below, so that you can check it out and see if it's right for you. And remember, it's only available for the next 7 days, so this will be finishing on Friday the 6th. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate you being here and joining us. If you're watching this, please give the video a like. If you're watching it on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. And once again, thank you so much. Get working on that anxiety. Try those 3 techniques and get it shifted out your body. Move forward and make your awakening the transformational experience that it should be. Lots of love to you guys.